Hi, my name is Madison. Thank you so much for coming to my channel. If you haven't been here before, I like to do mukbangs, cooking videos, just pretty much anything that is like regarding food. So if you like that, please go ahead and stick around. Today I am gonna make 2 recipes, but I think I'm gonna split them up into 2 videos because I think it would be too much for one. The first thing that I'm gonna make is a spinach artichoke dip because I've never made that at home before, but we used to make it all the time when I was in culinary school. I don't remember the recipe we used there, but I kind of remember a little bit. So I'm gonna try to use that today. And then the other thing I'm gonna make is this like delicious looking mushroom sausage pasta that I saw on someone's channel. And in that video, I'm going to link the recipe that I'm talking about. So I want to go ahead and get into it. I'm really excited. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so I went ahead and took my glasses off because I don't like that the ring light kind of reflects off of them. It's really annoying. So the first thing I'm going to do is take this little strainer and I'm going to drain the artichoke hearts. I'm going to leave the recipe that I'm using for the spinach artichoke dip in the description. It's from, I think, NY Times. It's like pretty standard. This one doesn't have mayo in it, so if you're used to having mayo, there are other recipes. I think one of them was like cooking classy or something. And yeah, so I'm gonna do that first and I'll be right back so that we can move on to the next step. Okay, so the other ingredients that I have are sour cream. Usually when I'm using sour cream in a recipe like this, I would just buy the container instead of using this, but I forgot to buy the container, so I'm just gonna go ahead and finish this out. Yeah, it's close to the like date anyways. I can't remember how much you're supposed to use of it. Oh, it's 4 ounces. So it's 4 ounces, this is 14 ounces, so I definitely am gonna still have some left. I just have some spinach, some oil, a single garlic clove, which feels wrong, and some mozzarella. In theirs, they use fresh mozzarella. I do not think that that is necessary, so I will be using the like this kind, which is like the low moisture part skim. And then I'm also gonna be using cream cheese. So the first thing I'm gonna do is chop up this garlic clove. I just like to hit it with the back of my hand. Super old trick if you've been around people who cook, but all I'm doing is just laying the garlic clove like pretty flat, and then I put my knife over it and just hit it with the back of my hand like that. Don't do this if you do not trust yourself. And then I'm just cutting this up pretty small. But yeah, the only reason I'm even making this is because at the store, I was looking at like different cheeses and stuff, and then I saw a spinach artichoke dip just like hanging out in the cold section. And I was like thinking, I'm like, I wonder if I can heat up this spinach artichoke dip, but I didn't know if you could like heat it up after it's been in the cold like that. And I've never had spinach artichoke dip cold, but I wanted like a warm one, you know, like with cheese. So freaking nice. So I'm just continuing to chop this up. Awesome. And I would say this is like a medium-sized garlic clove. Like, it's not super little. It was easy to peel. I don't usually fiddle around with the super small ones. They're very annoying. Cool. Okay. So now I'm just going to grab like a medium... you could use like a pot. It doesn't really matter exactly, but I'm using like a medium-sized like saute pan for it because I think it's going to be the easiest. And I want to bake it, so I'm going to turn the oven on to 400. Okay, so in the small time that it took to grab that pot and turn the camera off for a second, I put my glasses back on because the rest of this part is like not really with me in front of it. I still have the garlic clove here. I went ahead and washed my spinach, and I also took off the little stem on the really hard parts, and I washed the spinach really good because that specific kind of spinach, when it's like an adult like that and it's not the baby spinach that comes in the pack or even the regular spinach that comes in the pack, it's not like washed. So you gotta make sure that you're good there. So I have this cheese, and I'm gonna do something that is gonna seem sacrilegious, but it is just because it's gonna be the easiest. So I'm just gonna do this and cut it in half. Because that's gonna be the easiest. There's a half that has the date, and I'm gonna put that in there so that I just don't forget about it, because I am gonna take care of this later. I just don't want to take care of it I don't want to take care of this right now. So while I have this out, I'm gonna go ahead and just get it out of this packaging. It's gonna be just a little bit tight because I just kind of cut it into itself. And there says to shred, but it's kind of unnecessary, but because it's gonna go in the oven. So I'm just gonna cut it like this. So I'm cutting into strips. There's a couple pieces of spinach that ran away over here. And you don't want to just have this like sitting on the counter before you start messing with it, because it's gonna be really annoying. So the cheese needs to stay in the refrigerator until you are ready to mess with it. And then I'm just gonna chop these in half. Honestly, it's just kind of like a rough chop here, because it doesn't really matter about continuity, I guess. It's just about getting it done. So these are kind of just like fat matchsticks. I'm just gonna chop them into cubes. Okay, so I set the cheese to the side because it just needs to hang out over there so we can finish chopping things. So I just have the artichokes here. I gave them a light rinse whenever I drained them. And with these, you just want to chop them like to your own preference. If you never had them, I would say chop them up pretty small. And that way you don't have a whole bunch of something that you're unsure about being very, very huge in your dish. So this one's kind of hard. I'm going to throw it out. There's just a little bit of the skin. These are just the hearts of the artichoke, which is the soft part. The leafy outside is usually stripped away, and then you have like the actual heart. And like then there's like the thing in the middle that's like really pokey or whatever. I haven't touched an actual artichoke in a very long time. Thankfully these are canned, so they're kind of falling apart. In the NY Times recipe that I'm using, I think it says you can use canned or frozen. They said the frozen has more of like a fresh, like zippy flavor. So I'm gonna do a rough chop on the rest. This is a hard outside. I'm gonna throw that. Hard outside. Hard. I'm just throwing away some of those really hard ones, because this knife is really sharp. So if the skin isn't cutting with this knife, I feel like that'd be kind of annoying in the actual dish. And I'm making some of these pieces really small right now on purpose. Okay. Okay, so we have the, I think they actually use pecorino. Yeah, so theirs is a 1/4 cup of pecorino romano or Parmesan. This is Bel Gioioso Parmesan because it was giving $15 for freaking traditional, like real Parmesan cheese. Not happening. Anyways, so we have our olive oil. This is a blend. Our Parmesan, 8 ounces of cream cheese, sour cream. We have 1 garlic clove. The artichoke hearts that have been chopped up. And then I also have the 4 ounces of the, make words, 4 ounces of the low moisture mozzarella. And then over here, I just have all of the washed spinach. I want to use a little tiny teeny bit of this spinach in the other recipe that I'm doing. So I'm just gonna leave a little bit in this container. So now that we have everything ready, my screen is going black. Now that we have everything ready, I'm gonna go ahead and start cooking everything. So let's go ahead and turn the pan heat to, this is gonna be a 6 on this electric burner, which is like a medium high. The pan that I'm using today is my favorite one. If you've been here before, this is like my favorite pan ever. It's a Cuisinart. This is the anodized metal. It's amazing. I love it. It can go in the oven. So yeah, so I'm gonna wait for this to heat up and then I will start making everything. So now that our pan is at a pretty even heat, I'm gonna go ahead and add some olive oil here. And I didn't mention it, but I mean, it should be obvious. We're gonna need a little bit of salt. Mitzi. She's such a freak. We're gonna need a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. It says that you can use red pepper flakes if you'd like, but I really don't have any. I might use a little bit of cayenne just to like do it. But yeah, I don't keep red pepper flakes because I never have a reason to have them, but I guess I need to. So I've completely coated the pan with the oil. And I don't know where my favorite black spatula is, so I'm gonna have to use this one. I'm gonna put the garlic in here. And just saute that for just a moment. And this is extremely momentary because now I'm gonna go ahead and start adding the spinach. Honestly, this right here tastes really good. Put some salt on this. Yum. And if you don't like spinach, you probably just had it canned because it's fresh like this. Or even like, I mean, if you need to put like bacon or bacon fat in here, that's really good too. So we're just gonna wilt this until like it's pretty low, and that way it can have room. The reason we're not putting all of it in here at once is because we want it to have room to evaporate some of the liquid that's gonna come out of here. As you can see, it's already starting to loosen up a lot, get really, you know, a lot smaller of like a volume of surface area, you know. And as you can see, this happens really quick. So I'm just gonna put this part to the side and add the next part of it. And this is what I'm gonna be leaving for the other recipe. And thankfully with all this water in here, it's not gonna let the garlic burn. Okay, so at this point, it's pretty wilted, as you can see. So we're still wanting to cook some of this water off because there's still water here that we need to get out. We don't want the dish to be super watery, of course. So at this point, I'm gonna go ahead and do some salt. I'm gonna do maybe half a teaspoon or so. And I'm just using kosher salt. If you're using regular table salt, you will need to use less. And for any of my recipes, it's like that. I'm always using kosher salt. Like any recipe that I'm doing, anything that I'm cooking. And that's just because I like the texture of it. So still getting this water out. I'm gonna go ahead and grab a spoon so that whenever I add everything, I can taste it. And while I was waiting for everything to start, I went ahead and chopped up this sour cream. The cream cheese, I just forgot to tell you guys. It'll just make it easier to incorporate. All right, so this is wilted. Water is still cooking out of it. Want to make sure that it's okay. I'm gonna go ahead and add some pepper. Probably also a half a teaspoon of pepper. If the camera's at a little bit of a different angle, it's because I went ahead and grabbed this cayenne out of the cabinet right behind it. I'm just gonna put a little bit of this in here because it just seems necessary. So I'm gonna do that, and then let me see. I think my smoked paprika's on that side too. And I'm just gonna add a touch of smoked paprika to this, just to see what it happens. I would say a quarter of a teaspoon maybe. And all of our water is almost cooked out, so that's perfect. I'm gonna go ahead and add in the artichoke hearts. And we're just gonna saute that for a little bit just to get the bite out of them since they've been canned. And I'm just chopping up the spinach a little bit, just trying to get it incorporated with these. It's better to do that now than later. It'll be easier. All that spinach turned into this. But that's good. It helps eat your spinach because you don't have to eat like a whole bunch. It's very small. So I'm gonna put the heat on number 4, which is a medium low. And I'm gonna go ahead and add the cream cheese. And then now that that starts to melt, I'm gonna go ahead and just put it on low. Whoops. I'm gonna add the mozzarella. I know I'm saying like mozzarella really hard, but that's just how it's happening today. And then I'm just stirring this just a little bit, try to incorporate it. And it doesn't say to, but I'm gonna go ahead and just add a little smidge of heavy cream. Just a little bit. And right now, nothing too crazy is happening because we're just trying to slowly melt all of these ingredients. We don't want anything to burn. So this is a good thing. You don't want to hear sizzling. All this residual heat is taking care of what it needs to take care of. We're gonna go ahead and add the 4 ounces of sour cream. And the 1/4 cup of cheese. I almost sliced my finger open on that plastic. And this is why you have to be careful with the salt too, because I mean everything has salt in it, so you just want to be careful. And everything is still melting around in here. And this is my first time having this recipe too, so we're just gonna see how it is. And honestly, I was gonna bake it in this dish, but I'm just gonna grab a different dish because it's not as much as I thought it was gonna be. So a different dish would be perfect. Okay, so I went ahead and pulled it off because it's all melted. Looking cheesy. So I'm gonna go ahead and taste it right now so I can taste it for seasoning. Because it's gonna be harder to fix it whenever it comes out. So here it is. That is delicious. So I'm just gonna add a little bit more salt. And I'm actually gonna add a little bit of lemon. I feel like that would be amazing. I just have this beautiful lemon. It's the one that I mentioned in a video that I'll edit at some point in time. So bad at editing videos. I try to make it as easy as possible with like cutting the video really easy. Like if I'm doing something, I'll cut it. I'm just gonna add just a little. Thought I got all those damn seeds out, but I didn't. There we go. Gonna go ahead and stir that together. And I feel like that is gonna be pretty good. That is, tastes really nice. Let's see. It's only me and Brandon eating this, so double dipping doesn't matter. Here it is again. So let me put that to the side. Have a little dish here. And that's what I would describe, like if you've never had an artichoke heart before, I would kind of describe it as lemony in a way. And I'm just gonna spray this with some nonstick. This has a lot of cheese in it, so good luck, little pan. And these are some really awesome anchor pans, like dishes, whatever you want to call it, that I got. They're they're oven safe, and they have lids, so you can just cook your food in it, let it cool down, and then put it in the fridge with the lid on it. Ooh, this is heavy. And this specific pan, I could just cook it in there, but I don't want to, because I want to use it for the other thing. And like I said, this is way easier, because I'm going to have to transfer it to this pan anyways. Okay, so let's smooth the top a little bit. And that little cooking spray isn't going to hurt anything. I mean, there's plenty of flavor in here to cover it. However, if you have issue with that, use some butter. I'm determined to cut myself on that plastic. Just putting some extra parm on top. And things like this are always hard to take out of the oven, so I just suggest grabbing a pan, putting it on there, and then putting it in the oven. It's way easier. So I'm gonna put this in there, maybe 10 minutes or so, just until it starts to like brown on top, and I'll show you guys. So the next thing we're gonna go ahead and do is cut up this bread so I can toast it, so we can eat it. This looks dirty. It's not. This is just what happens to pans whenever you spray like Pam on them or something, and then you cook it, because you're actually not really supposed to bake this in the oven. It would be better to use, there's one that bakers use, I just really can't remember the name of it at this very moment. Anyways, not dirty, just stained. So let's go ahead and cut this bread up. So this is that bread I was telling you guys about the other day. It is really delicious. So with this end, I'm gonna cut it like this. just so it can be little pieces like that. And I'm just using a serrated knife to make this easier. And no butter, no oil, no nothing. You just want to put these on a dry pan. And then with this, I'm going to try to make some a little bit thinner and see how that goes. Because I haven't used this bread, you know, first of all, ever. Second of all, for this purpose. So, and I'm just going to leave them this size because it'll be easy to dip. So let's do that. I know I just did that. Don't say anything. Cool. So my pan is full, so I'm gonna go ahead and close this up. If I need some more, I can make some more. So this is what we got going on. I'm gonna go ahead and put this in the oven so that it will toast up, and yeah. Okay, it's gonna come out of the oven now. How'd that happen? Okay, so our bread is toasted. Some pieces, excuse me, so rude. Turn the oven off before we burn the house down. Anyway, some pieces may be more cooked than others. That's a whoopsie, but this is okay. So it's a little toasty on the bottom, but that's cool. Let's see. This one is a really good one. At this point, you could rub a raw piece of garlic on here. That'd be amazing. So let's go ahead and try it, right? Like that's the whole point. Wow. Still extremely hot. Here it is. I know it's kind of hard to see it with this front camera, but there you go. Super hot. Now, you might be asking, why is she not using chips? I like pita. Why is she using bread? I prefer bread with this. It actually completely prevents me from going to restaurants and ordering it because I don't like it with chips. I think it's very weird. To me, it makes a lot more sense on bread, where it's like crispy on the outside, kind of supple on the inside. Beautiful. Mm-hmm. Can't believe I've never made this at home. Some person on the website, by the way, left a review. She says she did open-faced sandwiches with this. That'd be amazing. She left the spinach bigger, which I didn't even have to cut the spinach. It was already, it did its thing in the pan. Super creamy. A little just like zing from the artichoke and the lemon, but not Not too zingy, like just a little bit, just to cut through how creamy it is. The toast is really good. Eat it with whatever you would like, of course. Honestly, this is so good, I could just fucking shovel it. So I'm just gonna do one more bite with you guys. It is super hot. Ah, it's so hot. I definitely love it with a thicker piece of bread. With this kind of bread, it's nice to like run it through there. First time making spinach artichoke dip at home was a success. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, please let me know. If you liked the video, please like it. And I'm gonna go make the second video now. I hope you guys have a great day or night wherever you are. If you're not subscribed already, please go ahead and consider. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.